Most people don't lose money because they're irresponsible. They lose money because they fall into invisible financial traps that feel normal, justified, even smart. These traps don't announce themselves as mistakes. They show up as upgrades, rewards, conveniences, and adult decisions. And by the time you realize what's happening, you're working harder than ever and still not getting ahead. One of the biggest traps is lifestyle creep. Lifestyle creep is when every increase in income is immediately matched by an increase in spending. You get a raise, and instead of building freedom, your life simply becomes more expensive. At first, it feels like progress. You move into a nicer place, you upgrade your phone, you eat out more often, you tell yourself you earned this, and maybe you did. But quietly, your baseline cost of living rises until it consumes every extra dollar. A few months later, you're making more money than ever, yet somehow you're still broke at the end of the month. You're not saving more, you're not investing more, you're just spending more to feel the same. The problem isn't enjoying life. The problem is letting your lifestyle grow faster than your freedom. Then there's the car payment treadmill. This is where people think they're being smart by focusing only on the monthly payment. Every few years, they trade in their car for a newer one with a lower payment. What they don't realize is that the old loan doesn't disappear. It gets rolled into the new one. The loan term gets longer. 5 years becomes 7. The payment drops, but the total cost explodes. You're always paying, always owing, and never owning. You restart the clock over and over again, staying permanently upside down on a depreciating asset. Meanwhile, someone who bought one reliable car and kept it after it was paid off has been driving with no payment for years. One person looks successful, the other actually is. Housing is another place where people mistake approval for affordability. Banks approve you for the maximum loan they think you can survive, not the maximum you can comfortably live with. So people buy the biggest house they're allowed to buy. At first, it feels like success, but then reality hits. Property taxes, insurance, maintenance, repairs, utilities. The mortgage might fit on paper, but life doesn't. Suddenly, every paycheck is already spent. One broken appliance becomes a crisis. Vacations disappear. Savings stop. You own a house, but you don't own your time, your peace, or your options. The house becomes a beautiful financial cage. Convenience makes the cage even tighter. Food delivery, subscriptions, express shipping, premium plans, each one feels small, harmless, even reasonable. But convenience works through repetition. A few dollars here, a few dollars there, every single week. Over a year, these invisible expenses drain thousands from your income, money that could have paid off debt, built savings, or created real breathing room. Convenience isn't bad, but when it becomes the default, it quietly eats your future. Then there's spending to keep up appearances. This is one of the most dangerous traps because it's driven by comparison. Social media, coworkers, neighbors, everyone looks like they're winning. Traveling more, buying nicer things, living better lives. So you spend to keep up, often on credit. Clothes, dinners, vacations, gadgets, not because you need them, but because you want to look successful. The truth is brutal. Nobody is watching as closely as you think. Most people are too busy struggling with their own finances. You're going into debt to impress people who won't remember what you bought a week later. Another silent trap is living without an emergency fund. When every dollar is already spoken for, life feels stable only as long as nothing goes wrong. And something always goes wrong. The car breaks down, a medical bill shows up, a device dies. Without savings, these moments turn into debt. What should have been a temporary problem becomes a long-term financial setback. And because there's still no buffer, the next emergency does the same thing. Living without savings doesn't mean you're optimistic. It means you're one unexpected expense away from collapse. Some people try to fix all of this by working more, side hustles, second jobs, late nights. Extra income can help, but it often becomes another trap. Instead of fixing spending, the extra money just props it up. The lifestyle stays the same. Sometimes it even grows. You're exhausted, burned out, and still stuck. Cutting expenses gives you permanent relief. Extra income requires permanent effort. One builds freedom, the other just delays the problem. There's also the habit of delaying the future. Retirement feels far away, so saving gets pushed off for later. You tell yourself you'll start when you earn more. But time is the most powerful ingredient in wealth building, and once it's gone, you can't get it back. Starting small and early beats starting big and late every single time. Waiting doesn't just delay progress, it permanently reduces what's possible. There's also the habit of delaying the future. Retirement feels far away, so saving gets pushed off for later. You tell yourself you'll start when you earn more. But time is the most powerful ingredient in wealth building, and once it's gone, you can't get it back. Starting small and early beats starting big and late every single time. Waiting doesn't just delay progress, it permanently reduces what's possible. All of these traps have one thing in common. They close the gap between what you earn and what you keep, and that gap is where freedom lives. Freedom isn't about how much you make, it's about how much margin you have. Margin to save, margin to invest, margin to handle life without panic. When every dollar is consumed, income becomes meaningless. You can make more and more and still feel stuck.